Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Alan Powell Show. Got a great show locked up for you. I thought I was going to be talking about Tom Brady retiring today, but as I was on my way home, got some breaking news. And before we break that news, let me bring in my brother, Mr. Amaru. Thank you for joining me, brother. I had to get you on for this one, man, because it was some my man repping the merch.
Have
Um,
to, brother.
I thought I was gonna be talking about Tom Brady today retiring officially. You know, it was some reports that he retired a few days ago, but he was trying to keep people in limbo. But he officially retired today. But on the first day of Black History Month, my brother, Brian Flores, the former coach of the Miami Dolphins, is suing the NFL for racial discrimination. Now, he is alleging that some practices have went on that is not just. He interviewed for the Giants head coaching position, but it seems that so Bill Belichick has his number and he has Brian Dable number, the person who got hired from the Giants, and it seems that as if Belichick sent the text message to the wrong Brian and leaked the information that the Bills are already hiring Brian Dable 3 days before Brian Flores was to interview. So that tells you right there some dirty stuff is going on. Brian Flores is basically saying they just using me to approve this Rooney Rule stuff. Not no real interview going on, man. And but on the first day of Black History Month, he said, "Hey, I'm done with all this nonsense, man." When you heard the story, and I got more information about Brian Flores and his whole ordeal with the Dolphins and everything else. But when you first heard the story, what was your thoughts?
Uh I wasn't shocked, per se, because you know how I am, right? Um, Things like this happens all the time. This is just corporate America. Uh, and I just give an example. I worked in the banking industry. I was there for 3 years, and so when you work in corporate America, you know they always hire inside and outside, right? And the base, if you know somebody, you get the job, right? So it's, if basically if you just relationship, and with this, and it's the same thing here. Um, I think with Brian Flores, it's kind of interesting because of how he was let go of the Dolphins. Um, they smeared his name. Obviously, we're gonna get into all that, but how they smeared his name, and then I, for me, when I thought that Bill Belichick did this on purpose because
You sent me a text and said the hoodie. So you saying he did this because of the Tom Brady announcement?
I believe so. And then I'll just give you context. So you got to remember, this was the same man who forced him out of New England.
Yes.
And then when Tom Brady, and I'm not, just put this out here, I am not a Tom Brady fan at all. I just respect greatness. I'm just not a fan, but I respect when you great, I respect you. But then when he cut his hand, he says not open heart surgery after they won. Didn't they get to like the Super Bowl after he cut his hand? Then with the Deflate Gate, he asked my quarterback, Spygate. So he got some scoundrel in him. Basically, he a little ruthless. He from Atlanta, basically. He from Atlanta, right? But the reason I think he did it on purpose because it was to upstage Tom Brady's announcement. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of feel that's why he did it on purpose. Because think about it. Why would you text your own? These are former staff members who coach with you on your coaching tree. So you should really know the difference I get like you'll get something and you'll text somebody real quick. You'll be like, oh, my bad. That mistakenly, but information like this, and Bill Belichick's a very calculated and smart guy. He remember, you already know he let people go a year before it's a year too late. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I really think this was very calculated. I think he did it on purpose.
Listen, I would usually agree with you because Bill Belichick is that type of guy. But I don't think he want his name. Or first of all, do you think that Bill Belichick thought that Brian Flores is going to sue the NFL, or he just thought I'm just going to give you some inside information, and he ain't think it all the way through like he was going to go this far with it.
Inside info. You know what I'm saying? And he probably didn't think. But think about it, it got out quick because I'm like, damn, he's suing the NFL already. And Brian Dable just got hired, like, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, a couple days ago? So, I mean, it's something to this. And you got to remember, too, when Tom Brady initially thanked the people when he retired, he did not mention the Patriots.
He didn't. But you know what? He did just lead the Bucks. I think I thought that was probably, well, you know what? He probably could have done it. He didn't do it.
He didn't. But he only did it after the owner came out and made a post, and then I love all you guys or something like that. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, Bill Belichick has he feels some type of way, basically. Because, and obviously he's going to keep coaching, but Brady can say, look at what I've done. Not to make this a Brady conversation, but he could just say, look what I've done, right? I retired. I already won a Super Bowl in another locale, and I retired. It wasn't really my fault that we lost. We were down 27-3. I brought us back to tie the game up. That was a defensive mental lapse. So, and I let the NFL and pass and all this other stuff. So I'm walking away with my head held high. You know, everybody kind of know that. You know, you kind of looking crazy out here with Mac Jones and y'all getting y'all butts handed to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that comes from. I don't think that he did. I don't think he knew the backlash that would come from it, but I think he did it slick. I think he was trying to be calculated with that. I really do. I really believe that.
But now that Brian Flores is suing the NFL, do you think he like, God dog, and I ain't want to?
Yes. Yes.
Go this far. Now
yes.
You go. And you know, he say he got text messages. So Brian Flores, I think he just said, "Hey, listen, look, Bill, you just got caught in the crossfire, brother. I'm sorry. Hey, you gave me some information. I'm sorry. I got to do what I got to do."
Friendly fire. And then what's going to happen? Let's say Brian Flores don't get hired at nowhere. He got ample game. Just like, you know what? I'm just going to let y'all all know what really, because I think it's really more to happen. I don't think he just, you know, he going to put it all out there because I think he's still hunting for a job. You know what I'm saying?
Not a lot though.
Yeah.
He put about the Dolphins.
Yeah.
The interview process with the Broncos. Like, bro, he put out a lot of information. So let me just, for the people who don't know, let me give you some background about Brian Flores. So 2019, he interviewed for the Broncos. He says the Broncos showed up an hour late and then looked like they was hungover. And he he trying to say that they didn't take him serious. Like, they already knew they wasn't hiring him, so they didn't care. He said they basically didn't care. So he took that interview and that happened. And then when he does get hired by the Dolphins, said the owner was offering him $100,000 a game to lose, to tank. And I think that's the same year that Tua was coming out from Alabama. It was called tanking for Tua. And the owner wanted him to lose. For every game that he lost, he was going to give him $100,000. He refused to do it. And who does stuff like that? So it's hard enough as a black man to get a job, a head coaching job. And then when you get the job, the owner wants you to tank and go, I'm going to offer you $100,000. And then, of course, when he gets fired, they're not going to mention none of that.
Right.
They're not going to mention none of that. And then let me just give you the records that he did when he was with the Dolphins. 2019, 5-11, his first year, the team was trash. He came in and trash. Second year, 10-6. 2020 got him 10-6. And then this year got him 9-8. And when he got fired, it was a lot of people that say, what are they doing here? What are they doing? And like you said earlier, then the smear campaign came. So all of this stuff is going on, man. And now he's suing the NFL, and it's looking eerily similar to Colin Kaepernick. Yes. And I think he's just like, I don't care.
Yes.
At that point.
And it's one thing you missed too. It was a story that he said he said that following the 2019 season, the owner is trying to get him to talked to Tom Brady after the Patriots released him
Right.
before he got to the Bucks, and was suggesting, hey, how about you have a conversation with, try to recruit him down here.
Oh, right. Wasn't it on the phone?
And he said that, okay, he said I think he deterred the conversation, was like, okay, he really think about it. And he said one day he was asked to be on the yacht with the owner.
Yes.
And so he gets on the yacht. I guess the conversation was on the yacht, or he got on the yacht, and the owner suggested, hey, Tom Brady will be here in about, I guess, in a conveniently on across the bay or somewhere in the vicinity. And he said he immediately left because he knew that was tampering. And then he also he was like, why would he want to come here anyway? Because we're rebuilding, so it wouldn't make sense for him. So it's all time. And this goes back to the Rooney Rule. This goes back to proper representation. Obviously, ownership, what they call governors now. But when Shannon says it all the time on he says it all the time on TV, you cannot tell billionaires what to do with their own companies, right? You can't tell them to hire, right? Because Roger Goodell he's not an enforcer, right? He's their representative, because they come to him when they want to get stuff done, and he relays that to to Players Association. So he can't make like if you don't hire this guy, if you give you incentive, if you hire him, I'll give you 2 extra draft picks. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. But it go again, we don't have any black ownership. No, I mean the only minority owner is Khan, I think, in Jacksonville.
Yes.
And McCaskey, the female, the Bears. So you can't, she's the only female. So you can't make them hire anybody that they want. You can't, that's just not gonna happen. And it shows you the morale of some of these owners, but it also makes you appreciate the Rooneys, because they have Mike Tomlin. He's been there forever. And he has never had a losing season. He has some turmoil over there, but they stuck with him, and you see the rewards. His players play for him. Like I said, he never had a losing season. So you don't see that very at all in the NFL. He's the only African American coach. So just crazy situation, crazy.
And he still got interviews coming up. I think he got an interview with the Saints, and then a second interview with Houston. But he's suing the whole NFL, all 32 teams. It's a class action lawsuit. So he's basically saying, I'm gonna be the face for all black coaches, offensive coordinators, general managers, all of these people. He's saying he's going to be the face for it. Do you think he purposely planned it for February 1st, the first day of Black History Month? Do you think he did that on purpose, or just?
I don't know. Brian Flores, I've read up on him, obviously because the Bears were vetting him for their position, for the head coaching. So I would suggest probably yes. Simply because if you remember when the whole movement started with the NFL, he was one of the ones that was chastising some of his players, Kenny Stills and some of those guys, talking about some of the things that he went through. And I respected that. Even though I didn't agree with it, but I respected what he was saying.
Right.
And, probably, because he's a no nonsense kind of guy. But the thing that's on my mind right now is, I'm going to ask you this. This is the question I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
Got this lawsuit brewing. Do you think they're going to hire him? Anybody for a head coach or coordinator job?
But if he don't get hired, that also I feel like it helps his case as well. It's a double-edged sword. If somebody does hire him, then it makes them look good. But if he don't get hired, that's proving his case.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes both ways. My question to you is, do he do what Colin Kaepernick did, take the money and then basically fade away? Or does he take it all the way? Like, I'm going to expose, I'm taking all y'all down. I'm taking the whole system down.
I think that'll be career suicide. And it would be basically now, do you love your job, or like with Colin Kaepernick, or are you really for the cause? And I think with him, it's a little different because Colin was just a player. Mm-hmm. This guy has built relationships with Bill Belichick, his staff, his coaches. So you're gonna not only are you alienating owners and teams, but you're gonna be also alienating, because mantra. They say, you know, we're brotherhood coaches. You know, they don't talk bad about coaches, but so this is going to be kind of exposing that, you know, and so it's going to be really interesting to see who comes to his defense, like a Herman Edwards, like a Mike Tomlin, some of these African or Eric Bieniemy, you know, people that's in the pipeline. Sean Desai that was with the Bears. You know, it's gonna be my man Leftwich and it was another guy. I forget it's a couple of them, but it's gonna be interesting to see if he pursues this route, who's gonna be in his corner, because it's like you said, double-edged sword. If I support you, and especially if I have a position, now these people are gonna be looking at me sideways, like, what are you doing? You know, we got you a job. Or the ones that's in the pipeline versus the ones who don't have a job, like Herman Edwards, who have to go to the collegiate ranks to, you know, or Tony Dungy. He's another name, you know, and let's go be very interesting to see what happens here.
If I'm Eric Bieniemy, I'm definitely jumping to his calls.
Yes.
Like, bro, y'all been ducking and dodging me for I don't know how many years.
Yes.
Bro. But at the same time, do he want to mess up his opportunity to finally get that chance? But I think once Brian Flores made this decision to do this, he sealed his fate. He said, you know, I don't care. At this point, I don't care anymore. I think he said, you know what? How y'all did me in Miami for firing me, one, and the stuff that went on with the Giants, and now he just like, you know what? All this stuff done built up, and the way y'all did me, nah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I think he said, I don't care at this point. It is what it is. But this also brings me back to Lovie Smith. He got fired 10-6 with the Bears.
Yes.
10-6. So we know that it's truth to what he's suing the NFL for. Now the party is, can he prove it in a court? Mm-hmm. And I think that the Bill Belichick text is going to be part of the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But what will be his number to make him go away? I think Colin Kaepernick numbers was like what? And I think it was real like 9 million or something like that.
Yeah, I think I was about to say 10. Yeah,
9 million, something like that. What will be Brian Flores' number? Because everybody says everybody has a price.
Mm-hmm.
And
but again, like you said, Lovie Smith, about to cut you off, but then Ron Rivera, because he's a minority, right? And he has a job, you know, he has a position.
Yeah.
And if this is with the coaches, then we got to take it next level. What about the GMs, right? The executives, you know, and some of these other positions that, what do they call it? Football of operations. Those the business side and the football side. So like, it could be huge. But then remember what happened with John Gruden when they exposed the text messages and they was like, this is closed. That's probably what's gonna happen. You know, because if he really dug in there, it'll be. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of mess behind that.
And he did this, couple weeks before the Super Bowl. I almost kind of wish he would have dropped it the day before the Super Bowl.
Man,
Super Bowl Sunday. That would have really made Roger Goodell and the NFL mad.
Yes, I agree.
I think it's probably still going to be festering around Super Bowl time. We got some time, you know.
Yes, 2 weeks. 2 whole weeks. You can't talk about Tom Brady 2 whole weeks.
Right. But just think about this. 70% of the league, give or take, is black.
Mm-hmm.
And we have one black head coach.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 70% black, wouldn't you think that black head coaches would be more adequate to coach black players?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense.
And I'm gonna add to that. Have you noticed that? And I picked this like last year. They are now hiring women coaches, and so it's like, okay, what is your priority, right? Because like you said, they're not 70% female; they're 77% African American. But you will have females who are, and this isn't to shade them. This is just to not to put our foot in the door, to keep the door open. Like, hey, like, what are y'all doing?
Right.
You know, and it especially with the NFL, you know, you look at, you know, the like, you know, you got I think Carl Nassib, he's a gay player. but it's going to open the door for some of those things too, because we always do the work for everybody else. And so when he, whichever way he go, he gonna probably get some nice legal aid from somebody, some representation to pursue this. But I mean, even if he don't really do anything, this is pretty big, because like you said, you can't really like excuse that. You got 70% of your labor is African American, but you have one head coach.
Yeah.
So,
and we all know when it comes to black head coaches, the leashes are shorter, as evidence of Lovie Smith, Brian Flores. I just read his record off to you. Even David Culley in Houston, the trash that he came into, and they just fired him. He actually had them being competitive. He had them competing at the end of the season with the whole Deshaun Watson saga. He still had that team competing. Man, bro, it's crazy. I look forward to seeing how this all plays out, because Brian Flores, it doesn't seem like he playing the games, bro. He's a no nonsense guy.
No, and I love that, because they talk about you can still, because they make a big deal about player coaches, right? He's a player's coach, right? And so even the face the picture that you're showing, he looks like a no nonsense guy. Yeah. And that's leader of men, right? Like Mike Tomlin, leader of men. You can't have African. I think that's a bad stigma too. They try to say, oh, he's a player's coach. That means he's not disciplined, right? He's not a disciplined coach. You have those two guys, the first two people that come to mind, like a Lovie Smith, they said the same thing. He's now they really moved it to players coach with Lovie, and I think that's what led to him being terminated, because they like, oh, you're 10-6, but you didn't make the playoffs. Crazy. Who made, like, you got to think about it, in that division at that time. You had who was it? No, Brett was still there. He was still there when he left, right? You had Minnesota, so you had the NFC was a monster. And think of, if you win 10, you usually any year you win 10 games, you go into the playoffs.
Right.
So, and they have not won a playoff game since Lovie Smith is gone. And then it's really disrespectful. When I was listening to 670 score, they're like, well, would you think Lovie will come back to be a defensive coordinator? Are you serious? Right. Are you that's pretty disgusting. You fired me and I come back as a demoted role to come, really?
Yeah. Justin Camper's comments, I've stated many times on your show in the comments that white supremacy reigned in the NFL and you denied me. Al, all of a sudden you changed your opinion. First of all, brother, I don't remember that particular show or whatever. So don't try to call me out like I'm changing my tone. If you got some evidence, boy, you can show me. Don't try to say all of a sudden I'm changing my opinion. I didn't say, I don't remember that comment, brother. You got to come with some facts behind that. You can't just
some receipts.
Yeah, come with some receipts, brother. You ain't just about to come like that. But that's my lawyer. I wanted to get him on. He wasn't available, but I'm gonna bring him on probably next week to actually see what type of case does he have. What can he win? Like, what the legal process? How does that go? But he's gonna come on hopefully next week and explain. After he's able to look after everything and see what can be done. But how do you see this playing out in the end, man?
I think it's gonna end up just like with Kaepernick and John Gruden. They're gonna get rid of him and they're gonna give him some money. Not that he's gonna be willing to settle, but they're gonna be pressured to settle, and they're gonna try to move along because. But what Righty Harris always says, you don't want to damage the shield. And so they go stand on that, right? Yeah. Jerry Jones, like these guys crab food, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's the shield. They embody that. So anything that, and you see, as soon as this hit Bleacher Report, what did the NFL do? There is no merit to these claims. We look forward to. So it's gonna be interesting. I think they're gonna probably make him try to go away. What he needs to do, he needs to get a good representation, a good legal team. And just fight it head on. You might just go to open the door, brother. You might as well.
Is Ben Crump gonna be a part of this?
If he do, we done.
He be putting sit on everything. You know what I'm saying, bro, when Ben Crump be everywhere, but when I heard him speak, he don't even sound like he that dude. Like, I'm shocked. Like, this dude he doesn't talk like too eloquent or anything, but he be out here getting work done. I'm like,
Long live Johnny Cochran, man.
man, he was the beast. He was the beast. But
Beast.
Mr. Tell the Truth said, what's the details? Let me tell everybody who don't know. Brian Flores is suing the NFL, the former coach of the Miami Dolphins. He's claiming racial discrimination because of the Giants' hiring of Brian Dable. And what he is alleging is that they already had their coach before he even had his interview. He got a text message from Bill Belichick. He got a text from Bill Belichick, basically saying that the coaching job is going to Brian Dable, but he thought he was texting Brian Flores. He texted the wrong Brian, and it leaked out. Now listen, I got guys in my phone that got the same name. This dude Justin Camper, I got another Justin in my phone, so I know it can happen. But he's basically saying that this Rooney Rule, I'm just being used as a pawn. I ain't really had no. It's a sham. He said it's a sham process, and even with this situation, he went back to his interview process with Denver when he said they came an hour late and they looked hungover, like they didn't take him seriously. And he's just saying that this whole situation with the Rooney Rule and black candidates for coaches, it's a sham. It's a sham. He don't believe in it, and he's suing for racial discrimination. And so we're going to see. My brother Amaru said Bill Belichick did it on purpose because it's Tom Brady's retirement day, and he leaked it on purpose. I'm in a camp that I don't know if I don't think he would have done that on purpose because of all the attention that's coming from it now, or he didn't think he was gonna go this far. He maybe leaked it and was like, "Yo, I'm gonna give you some inside information," but he didn't tell him not to do nothing with it. And Brian Flores said, "Nah, bro, that's it." And Belichick probably looking like, "Yo, man, come on, man, don't put me in the middle of this, man. I was just trying to give you some little info, and now you done did this." Justin Kappa says, "I'm glad someone had a same opinion I have about Crump." Oh, he.
Man, listen. Every time I see Ben Crump, I literally want to turn the TV off, man. I'll be like, bruh, like, I respect what he do, man, but it's like a lot of times, and this just off subject, off topic. It's like, okay, and I'm pretty sure he's a lawyer, and he probably knows what I'm going with this. It's like, do you really know what's really happening? Like, you have some of these cases and you overcharging and and then these people walk, and I'm like, wouldn't you're the lawyer, right? Wouldn't you know not to do that? Or talk to the prosecutor and be like, hey, we not, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And so he's always walking away. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that, but I'm glad you said it because you are the legal analyst. So I wasn't gonna call because I'm not an expert, but that's what I was going. I believe that to in my soul. Every time, and it's another one. I forget the other guy, but I like Monique Presley and I like Scott Bolden. I love him. But I forget the other guy, Lee, I think his name, Lee something. They really do not. I'll be sitting there, I'm like, are y'all really like advocating for the victim, or y'all just trying to get some money?
Bruh. He's out front and center if he's defending this case. But the crazy part is, if he do defend this case, it might go somewhere. Like with his name, his attention.
Yeah, the attention. Yeah.
History Month is 2022.
Yeah.
Everything is lining up for Brian Flores to really make some hay with this.
Yeah.
Like when Kaepernick did this, it wasn't this big of a movement at the time. 2022, post George Floyd,
yes.
post Me Too, post all of this stuff.
Absolutely.
This is the time if you really want to
push that energy. Yep.
This is the time to do it. But so I mean, Ben Crump might be the one to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was going. I definitely would laugh, but it might be his time. He might say, "You know what? I'm with it. Let's go. Let's do it." But I I'm shocked. Nobody's ever said this before about Ben Crumb, but I'm like, bro, dude got some. Like, how's he talking out here? Like, I don't understand it. But yeah, Brian Flores suing the NFL. First day of Black History Month. He trying to make some new Black history. He's trying to take down the NFL and a whole system as far as hiring Black minority coaches or minorities in general. And it's going to be interesting to see how that's pan out. Like I said, I thought I was going to be talking about Tom Brady officially retiring today, but that news broke. But with him retiring, I just want to look at it at his career. And I know you had wrote some stuff about him with Pat Mahomes choking and everything, and you had said just how great he is. But I look back at Tom Brady's career, and I hated him when he was with New England. Hated him. But once he went to Tampa Bay, that kind of subsided. It was like, man, now I gotta put some respect on his name because it's not in New England. It doesn't have all this cloudiness over it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy. No deflate gate, no spy gate. You just gotta respect what he did, man. And for him to go over there, 44 years old, 43 when he won that Super Bowl, and almost brought him back again, man. Like, dude really was a beast, man.
He, you know, my friend, he's a diehard Tom Brady fan, and and Clark Bone, that's my guy. Shout out to Clark Bone, man. We got into it so many times over Tom Brady, man. Let me tell you. And so, it was probably about what Super Bowl was that when they beat they beat Atlanta when they was down 28-3.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a story, quick story. So I'm at the church with my friend. You know, he's a member at this one church. So I go with him and we go watch the Super Bowl there, right? And so I'm in the midst of all these pastors and clergymen, right? And so they getting their butts kicked. Some of them watch football. I don't think they really watch it. And so I tell my guy, I'm like, hey, it may be blasphemous. I said, but this game is not over. Oh, man, Tom Brady ain't nothing but the devil. He ain't nothing but the devil, right? Especially after pick six, they jumping and doing. So it was just funny. So we get to the fourth quarter and this game started getting tight. And I was like, I told y'all, I said, I do not like that dude. I said, but you have to respect him. And I said, you have, and I think Julio made the catch on the sideline, and then Matt Ryan took a sack, and I said, now, if they score this game over, they tied. I said, the game over. I said, I said, with him, it's moments. I don't even when you are great, like Jordan, this is just enough. When you are great, I don't even look at stats. I look about your moments, right? This moment that he just had when they lost the game, bro, they was down 27-3. And I get it. The defense made turnovers and all that, but someone made them throws.
Yeah.
And without Antonio Brown, Godwin hurt, Gronk on his last legs, I'm sitting there, I'm watching with my daughter. I'm like, man, I know he ain't going out like this. Brought them back. And it was sickening to watch. You know, I'm not even a fan of his, but you was sick for him because you like, damn, like he threw the pass to Cooper Kupp twice. The dude fell. I'm like, wow, they gonna lose like this, you know. And your respect level goes, it gets more because you like, nah, that's a different dude right there. You know,
that defense, he would have pulled it off.
Yeah,
they gave up that pass to Cooper Kupp. He would have pulled it off, man. So, hey, shout out to Tom Brady, man. The go to football, like,
yes, sir.
Knock him, man. Can't knock him. He's officially retired. It's going to be strange. I thought he was going to come back one more time because of the way he left out. Like, dude, probably going to win MVP on his way out. You know what I'm saying? Like, who beats the game as an MVP? Like, that usually don't happen. You know, I thought he was going to give it one more run. But
wait. You forgot somebody who did. They did it in 98, 23 in red.
But he came back with the Wizards, man.
I'm just saying after. I'm just saying before. He did.
Yeah, he did. But I thought he would have came back one more time. Mason reports, so mad I missed the Brian Flores convo. Just got out of class.
That's my guy.
Listen, I actually wanted his input. I know he would have went in. He was like boycotting once the Colin Kaepernick stuff happened. But yeah, man, you can still put the comments on there. He said, but to answer your IG question, yes, he's done. I have put on IG is he's going to be the new Colin Kaepernick, and definitely he's not going to get a coaching job, man. He's definitely going to be done. Um, I can't see him getting another job, but if he does, I will be shocked. I will be
Yeah.
shocked. But at the same time, like I say, it's everything that they do. It's like they dangle little stuff in front of us, like, "Hey, we for y'all. Listen,
Mhm.
listen." You know, they got the little end racism signs and these little slogans here and there. We're gonna sing the Black National Anthem. We're gonna put Jay-Z. We're gonna give you a halftime show. We're gonna do all this stuff. But at the end of the day, we still got this coaching disparity with black coaches and minority coaches. It's like, dude, stop faking the funk, man. Y'all not really doing what y'all saying y'all doing. Y'all just putting out a whole bunch of jargon and words and ain't really going behind them. And people can see through it. Like don't sit here and dangle little stuff in me like, hey, we doing stuff for you. Like, stop it. We're not dumb. We're not dumb. So
I think too, if now that I just let it resonate a little bit, this has happening for years. I think he's just the first one to really say something about it.
oh yeah,
Because if you think about it, as an African, you like, I can't really say nothing because I want to be in the fraternity. I still want to be in the loop. You know what I'm saying? Bad timing, obviously in the 70s, 80s, not, it wasn't the time like it is now. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, with the that movement and that push. So I'm thinking about it now, letting it sink in. He may get a job, because if he does it, it would really show their hypocrisy.
Right. But if he does, then he loses his case, I think.
But it depends on who you asking, because if you're obviously white, male, that geographic, they're gonna be like, well, if you're really about the cause, those people out there, if you're about the cause, you're not gonna settle, right? But with him, and like you said, the timing with the George Floyd and all this other stuff, the end racism and all that stuff, it's really gonna show their hypocrisy if that man like sued the NFL and then they don't mess with him. Like, and I give an example. Jerry Jones, I mean, what was it? Was it Jerry Jones trying to sue the NFL over the Coca-Cola stuff? But it didn't end his relationship. But you know why? Because he's an owner, right? He's a $1 billion owner, right? So with him, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna show their hypocrisy, because people are gonna start pointing these things out, like, hey, or what probably is going to happen too, some African American coaches that this happened to in the past will start coming out and sharing their stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what needs to happen.
Yes.
It really needs to be a Me Too movement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But with the Me Too movement, it's like they didn't have as much to lose.
No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
No risk.
Right. Like, I think they got to a point where they was fed up. Now the question is, are the black coaches fed up in the league? Are they fed up enough?
Yes.
To go to do what the women did with the Me Too movement.
Yes, I agree. That's what like the Herm Edwards, the Lovey Smiths, even Tony Dungy, because he's on TV. You know what I'm saying? So he has a platform, right? Eric, like Leftwich, he just got hired. Mike Tomlin, it would be really interesting to hear his point of view, his perspective of this, being that he has a job. And the people that employs him that's who the actual rule is named after him. Right. So if he says something, will they allow him that least to be like, hey, go on and voice your opinion? Do
you think it's actually with Pittsburgh as well? Because they're the only one that has had a black coach for this long. Like, do you think they part of the nonsense like everybody else, or they the one standout?
I don't think so. And here's why. With the AV stuff that was going on, remember they had Le'Veon Bell and all that stuff. They were actually sticking by these stars, and who was advocating for them was Tomlin, but they had to eventually let AB go because he was just his conduct was detrimental to the team, right. But for them, like, if that's any other organization, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think they are a little more lenient, even, and is I always think about this too. What somebody puts out there is totally different than what they actually are. But for him to be still there, Mike Tomlin is a dominant personality. You know, if something's not like, he's real transparent. So if something ain't being done, I believe he'll say something. You know, like, hey, these Roonies ain't, y'all named the rule after them and giving them praise. I think they kind of solid. I'm not going. I'll give them that. I think they're pretty solid over there.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, especially during Super Bowl weeks. Especially if Goodell got to answer some questions like this for Super Bowl week. Mason report: Pittsburgh is an anomaly. They kept Tomlin because they are reluctant to welcome change.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. So he says more about just keeping the status quo than that they really solid. That's interesting.
I mean, and I like the perspective because that's pretty true, because they only had 3 coaches in their whole tenure.
Yeah.
But to rebuff that, though, he has not had a losing season.
Facts. Let him start getting some losing seasons on this.
Yes.
That would be interesting to see. Mason report: there's no excuse for Leftwich, Flores, etc. not to have a head coach.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And like I say, the way they did Flores, man, bro, he came into a crap situation and he brought them to the last 2 seasons, 2 winning seasons, man, and y'all let him go, bro. Like, that's ridiculous, man. But like I say, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. If the questions get asked during Super Bowl week, Radio Row, all that stuff, and if he got to deal with those type of questions, and just going forward, how it's going to pan out. Mason report says facts. Tomlin hasn't lost or given him an excuse to fire him. Yeah, let him start losing. Give him some losing seasons and see what happens. We'll see how solid they are for sure. But, listen, man, we are about to get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody joining in. Mr. Amaru, thank you for jumping on short notice after these breaking news.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
We are about to get ready to get up out of here. I will catch y'all next Tuesday. We are out.
Lock and load, Alan Pants. It's the Alan Pants Show. Yeah.